you to take a comfortable laying position. If your lower back is tight, it can be nice to take your feet onto the mat, knees pointing up. Just starting to notice your breath. Noticing where in the body you're breathing into. Noticing how the breath feels in the body. Observing if there's any areas that feel particularly tight or restricted. Maybe as though you're gripping or holding. Your next breath out, please, releasing as much tension as you can through the body. Maybe rolling your shoulder blades behind your chest. Maybe letting the arms float out to the sides, palms facing up. Starting to connect to your breath a little bit more now, please. Breathing in through the nose, down deep into the abdomen. Feel your belly muscles rising and expanding. And as you exhale, breathing out of the nose, feeling a gentle contraction, engagement of the lower abdominal muscles. So we start off with a bit more of a yogic type breath, but you'll see how everything crosses over when we come to Pilates. So for now, I'd like you to visualize your spine or a central channel through the body. As you inhale, visualize the breath traveling down the spine to the base of the body, which is the pelvic floor. Feel the whole torso expanding, almost in a circle, like your body's a sphere. And as you exhale, feel the whole body drawing in towards the central line. Spine as the breath travels up and out. Inhaling down, feel the base of the body expanding, the whole body expands. Exhaling up, pelvic floor lifts, the lower abdominals gently draw in to compress the breath out. Inhale, whole body expands, everything relaxes, opens. Exhaling, lifting in and up. Inhaling, expanding down. Exhaling, lifting up. Bringing your breath as slow as you can, as big as you can. Noticing if there is any gripping still in the body, maybe particularly if your feet are up, you might have a little bit of pinching or gripping at the inner thigh or the hip. Just relax the legs. If they start to float a little bit wider or the knees start to float in together, just let it happen. Maybe you're clenching your jaw or the muscles in the face. Maybe your shoulders are creeping to the ears or just clenching, just relax. Now, relaxing can be easier said than done. You have these kind of tension patterns and habits in the body. You keep reminding the body that everything's okay. We're going to work with the breath, with the nervous system. We're going to create a little bit of activation to help release stagnancy, to help switch certain muscles on so that other muscles can turn off. Continuing to breathe, inhaling down the spine, exhaling up the spine. Joints soft, limbs soft. Torso expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. Face soft. Bringing your awareness now to the tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes, and the crown. As you inhale, almost feel as though your whole body is expanding. And as you exhale, feel as though your whole awareness goes into the center of your torso. This just seems like something very odd to say. Just visualize it, imagine it in your mind. Inhale, everything expands, the whole body. We exhale, everything goes in. Get a sense of connection to every single part of your body. Maybe you can't necessarily feel every muscle or every area. Feeling that your body is whole, that your body is yours, your body is on your side. Feeling fully present now in your body. Feeling as relaxed as you can be in this moment. Taking 3 more lovely, long, slow, deep breaths. And then on your next inhale, please reaching your hands up overhead, pointing your toes, taking a full body stretch, like your arms rise, maybe let the hips wiggle side to side, so you get a little bit of stretch into the lower back. Just give the body that little bit of movement that it might be asking for. Like when you wake up first thing in the morning, you just take that lovely stretch and move a little bit intuitively. Now as you exhale, take your hands down from the sides, feet onto the mat. We're going to move into our Pilates section. So Pilates is a little bit less intuitive and more exact. So we're going to really focus on everything. But I want you to keep that sense of connection to the inside of your body, so you're really aware of everything that your body's doing, where might need a little bit more activation, where might need a little tweak, and if you're unsure of anything, just feel free to ask, okay? Making sure that your knees, so the center of the knee, is in alignment with the hip bone. So what we're thinking about bone alignment in Pilates. Your heels are in alignment with your sit bone, so like the center of your bum cheeks, toes pointing forward. So we want to think about 2 train tracks. Heels are roughly underneath your knees, so we don't want the heels too far forward or too close in towards your sit bones. Rolling your shoulder blades behind your chest, feel the sense of openness across the chest, and then just relaxing shoulders. Taking your hands into a triangle shape, so thumbs together, fingers together. We're going to place this triangle over the top of the pelvis. So can you feel, if you kind of push down underneath the hands, your hip bones, these bony bits at the front? These are 2 corners of the triangle, and then fingertips press down to pubic bone. That's our lovely pelvic triangle or pelvic bone. As you inhale now, I'd like you to send your pubic bone down between your legs. You'll feel like your hips rise, so the thumbs are higher than the fingertips. and you've got more of an arch in the lower back. This feels uncomfortable, just don't go as far, just make it really small if you need to. As you exhale, we're going to blow out of the lips. Like you've got a straw in the mouth, roll your hips in towards your ribs. Can you feel here now that the back is flush against the mat, so there's no gaps in the back? Inhale, we're going to come forward, breathing in through the nose. Exhale, we're going to blow out softly through the lips. Inhale, rolling forward. Exhale, rolling. Just notice how this feels in the body. Can you notice that your upper body is moving slightly on the mat as your pelvis moves? Just observing that the position of the pelvis has an effect on the whole body. Now we're going to bring the pelvis into its neutral position. Pubic bone and hip points are level. So we want to have that flat triangle where the fingertips and the thumbs are level. If you need to look up, you're not sure, have a little look at the pelvis. And then also I want you to make sure that your hips are level. So we can tend to have a kind of slight tilt. I can bring them nice and level. Take a breath into your belly. Feel the belly muscles rising underneath your hands. As you exhale, take a short, sharp breath out. Can you feel the muscles contracting and jumping? You can even take a little cough, a little faint laugh if you want to. Just want to observe that little bit of engagement that happens naturally. Maybe you can also feel it into the lower back as well, into the sides of the waist. This muscle wraps across the hips and attaches into an area in the lower back. So now, without making that engagement be a kind of automatic response from that sharp breath, I want you to inhale, everything relaxes, exhale, engage in yourself. Same thing we were doing in that yogic breath. Inhale, softening the muscles, exhale, drawing in. Pelvic floor lifts at the same time. So we talk about two main muscles, the lower abdominals and the pelvic floor, but I'm just going to say lower abdominals and I mean both. Inhale, everything releases. Exhale, everything draws in and up. One more, inhale, releasing. Exhale, drawing in and up. I'd like you to hold your lower abdominals engaged. Just check, are you kind of really squeezing and forcing them on? Just see if you can soften slightly. They're switched on, everything's light. There's not so much effort in the body, we're not clenching or squeezing. And please take your hands up to your ribs. Just check, are your ribs kind of sticking up? Like you think about your lower ribs drawing down towards your hips. Can you feel that your spine, that midsection of the spine kind of lengthens? We're going to breathe into the back and sides of the ribs. So if you want to, if you're kind of refamiliarizing yourself with Pilates, again, take one hand back down to the lower abdominals. Keep one hand on the ribs. Soften the breath. So we're just going to take a little sniff in and a little blow out. Notice when you breathe in, is your belly moving? So we want to avoid that. And maybe with every exhale, you want to deepen that engagement. So we inhale, kind of roughly at rest, want to be at around 40%, 30 to 40% engagement. And then as you exhale, you can feel naturally it's easier to engage a little bit deeper. So just check in with yourself. If you're inhaling a really big breath, there's nowhere for the breath to go but down into the belly. So it's going to be really hard for you to maintain that abdominal connection. So just want to take a little sniff in, little blow out. Don't work too much if you get confused and forget as we layer up. There's a lot of different things to think about. But over time with Pilates, these things just become a little bit more muscle memory, so it's not as much mental effort, okay? Pelvis neutral, so just check that again. You've been focusing on your breath, maybe you lost your neutral pelvis. Pubic bone and hip points are completely level. So if you imagine you're going to hold a glass of water in the center of your pelvis, like a little table here. You want to make sure it's not going to fall down between your legs, it's not going to roll up onto your chest. Okay. Does everyone feel okay in the lower back? It was okay too. We're good. Okay. Hands down by the sides. I'm going to start with just a very simple out breath. As you inhale, nod, look at your abdomen and just float the hands off the mat like 1 inch. As you exhale, slide your ribs towards your hips. Keep your shoulder back, okay? Keep your pelvis in neutral. Inhale, breathe into your ribs, and then exhale, slide it back down onto the ground. Release the head, release the hands. Inhale, nod, hands float onto the mat. Exhale, sliding ribs towards hips. Inhale, holding, and exhale, releasing back down. Most of our movements in Pilates have that breath. That 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, inhale, nod. 2, exhale, slide up. 3, inhale, hold. 4, exhale, releasing back down. 1, inhale, nod. 2, exhale, slide up. 3, inhale, hold. 4, exhale, release back down. Brilliant. Keep going in your own time. Say that little count in your mind if you want to. Check when you come up that you're looking at your belly, okay? What we want to avoid is, and what will naturally happen is this, right? We nod, breathe into belly, see it's risen, exhale, push down and out. We want to keep that feeling of in and up. So the belly should kind of stay at that same level as when you're laying down. Roughly. Brilliant. Really nice. Keep your tailbone rooted in the mat. What the body wants to do is help you come up, help you get closer. So it's going to roll the pubic bone up to meet your nose, but avoid that. Really nice. Taking one more, please. Brilliant. And then just relax. If you have any tension in your neck, just looking side to side. We're going to inhale now, lifting the hands up towards the ceiling. Imagine you're holding a ball in the hands, like a beach ball. Drop your shoulder blades into the mat. It's natural for us to pick up the back of the shoulder. I want you to stabilize the shoulder, let it fall into the ground. As you exhale, imagine you're passing a ball to somebody just behind your head out of view. We're not reaching all the way to the ground, we're not stretching up behind us, okay? Keep your elbows soft, you're just passing back and then back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, pass back. Inhale, lift up. Getting used to that movement with the breath. And now, when you're ready, I want you to start really focusing on your core, on the alignment of the pelvis and the ribs. So I'd like you to make sure that your ribs are not lifting as you take the hands behind the head. Everything stays exactly the same. It's literally just the top of the arm bone rotating in the shoulder socket. So you think of like a Barbie. She doesn't have soft bits in between her hips and her ribs. So when she lifts her hands up overhead, her torso can't move. Think about that and feel that extra engagement. So now your upper abdominals are going to be engaging with your lower abdominals to keep the ribs down. Keep it soft, keep that internal focus. Can you imagine your bones moving? Can you imagine your core muscles drawing in a little bit more to help keep everything nice and stabilized? Really lovely, everyone. We're going to add in a little bit more movement. So this time we're going to exhale, hands come back, turn palms away from one another. Inhale, circling the hands in wide. So our hands are facing your toes. Exhale, hands come back overhead. Inhale, circling hands wide. Exhale. And exhale. We're going to work the lower body. Challenge the stabilization. Take an exhale, zipping in and up. We're going to take hands by the sides for now, and then we're going to add both together, challenging coordination. As you exhale, you can just slide your right leg away from you without letting the hips move. So if you want to take your hands onto your hips too. Then turn your knee out towards the right and slide your foot back in to center. Not a difficult thing to do, but it's a little bit challenging to actually not let the pelvis move at all. Really focus on pelvic floor engagement. Nice zip up. Moving really slow. If your left knee is wobbling, you can see it wobbling, that means that the pelvis is moving. It's trying to help stabilize. One more here. And then we'll swap over the leg. Is that okay on your hip? Keep it really slow. Keep that lovely inner awareness. When we rush through movements, we kind of skip over things. Skip over uncomfortable sensations. Other muscles take over when really we want to condition smaller, sometimes weaker muscles. Particularly in the pelvis, we can overlook a lot of these muscles, pelvic floor and lower abdominals. So keep two on the side. You feel your core muscles working, even though you're just moving your leg. Feet back on the mat, hands back up towards the ceiling. We're going to exhale, pass that ball, slide the right leg away. Inhale, circle hands in. We're just going to slide the knee back up. Exhale, left leg, hands back. Inhale, circling. Knee slides back. Once you get used to that movement of arms and legs, then I really want you to focus on shoulders, ribs, pelvis. Torso stays nice and stable. Ribs stay sliding down to hips. Last one. Taking your hands down by your side now, please push your hands into the mat as you exhale. Can you feel that engagement in the shoulders, that openness in the chest, maybe even a little bit more engagement through the abdominals? Inhale, soften. Exhale, push. Feel that little bit of engagement through the abdominals. Inhale, soften. Exhale, push the hands into the mat, zipping up a little bit more. Last one. And we're going to exhale. Push the hands, lift the right leg to tabletop. Keep the pelvis neutral. Exhale, slide the left leg to tabletop. Keep pushing the hands into the mat, particularly if you find this challenging. We're going to exhale, right toes tap down. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, left toes tap down. Inhale, lift back up. Pelvis is not rolling back and forth. Make the movement smaller if you need to. Use your hands more if you need to. Avoid tension in the shoulders. Really use your breath. If this feels okay and you want to add on, if you've been doing Pilates a little bit longer, we'll exhale, extend the right leg, inhale, bend. Exhale, left, inhale, bend. Inhale to ribs, exhale, deepen that engagement. Keep your ribs drawing down, use the hands on the floor as much as you need to. Finish with your left leg extended or tapping down. Inhale, knees into chest, relax the shoulders. Give these a little hug in if that feels nice. And dropping the weight of the legs into the hands. The hands around knees. We're going to open the knees wide and circle the knees in. The pelvis can rock around a little bit now. Reverse those circles. Release the legs down. Rolling over onto your front. If you want to actually maybe face down your mat so you can see. Sorry, I should have said that. Can you see with the computer there? I'm going to think about just relaxing into the mat completely. Feet are in alignment with your sit bones, so they're not wide, okay? Relax your face into the mat, relax your shoulders. Taking your hands by your temples, and then bringing the arms, the hands wider so they're just off the mat. Relax your elbows down. Take a breath into your belly. You feel your belly when you push into the ground as you exhale, zipping in and up. You might feel that you need to adjust yourself. I always feel when I engage, I need to draw my hips down a little bit more towards my hips. On your next exhale, just checking the position of your pelvis. You might find that your hip bones are pushing to the mat and your tailbones sticking up towards the ceiling. I want you to draw your pubic bone into the mat so that the hips and the pubic bone are level. You might feel your glutes slightly engaged. And we're going to push the hands into the mat and the elbows into the mat. You feel that your shoulders slightly engaged. And release. Pushing hands and elbows, engaging the shoulders and release. Keep the lower abdominals switched on. Keep the legs as soft as you can. We're going to inhale this time, push the hands, the elbows, roll the nose like you're rolling the marble of your nose. Just looking to the top of your mat, okay? So you're not looking to the wall in front of you. As you exhale now, extend out from your breastbone and the crown of the head, draw your shoulder blades down your back. Keep your abdominals switched on, breath into ribs. Exhale, extend through the spine as you lower back down. So strengthening the back muscles, the upper back muscles, shoulders. Relax the elbows forward, the shoulders forward. Inhale, push the hands, the elbows, roll the nose. Exhale, extend through the spine, through the chest. Draw your shoulder blades back together. Inhale, breathe into ribs. Exhale, release. Keep going. Keeping your lower abdominals zipped up, keep your pelvis in neutral. If this feels okay and you want to add on, we're going to inhale, same way, extend, exhale. You can push into the hands a little bit more, lift the elbows, keep drawing in through the abdominals, looking forward. And then exhale, lengthening as we move. Really important, the shoulders are away from ears. Soften the bottom. Inhale. Exhaling to move, keep that rib-tip connection. Shoulders engaged, we're opening up the chest. Last one, whichever version you're taking. And then stacking one hand on top of the other, taking your brow onto that little hand pillow you've made. Relax your shoulders, relax your arms. Think about that rib-to-hip connection as you exhale, zipping up pelvic floor, lower abdominals. This time we're going to keep the shoulders relaxed and just work the lower body. Okay? Check that your pelvis is neutral, so we're thinking about the tailbone slightly rolling down towards your heels. Take a breath into ribs. As you exhale, extend the left leg. Try not to roll onto the right hip. Inhale, lower back down. You're going to feel your glute engage as you extend the leg. Exhale, extend the right. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, left leg extends. Inhale. We're not looking for height, we're looking for extension. If you're feeling any pinching into the lower back, that probably means that your pelvis is coming out of alignment. Keep your shoulders soft. The shoulders are going to try and help you and assist you, but thank you, no thank you, we don't need that help. We're trying to just work the lower half of the body. We also want to make sure that we're not rocking side to side. So we're keeping the pelvis stabilized with those lovely muscles, pelvic floor, lower abdominals. If everything feels okay, there's absolutely no pinching in the lower back, we can exhale, extend both legs. See how it feels in the upper back. If your upper body starts to float off the mat, then reduce. Really think about lifting from your glutes, your hamstrings engaging the backs of the legs. Last one. And then taking your big toes together, your heels apart, give your hips a little wiggle. Taking hands underneath shoulders and gently making your way up to tabletop. The next few exercises, actually we'll do some opposite arms and legs, and then anyone can come to elbows if they're not super comfortable on the wrists. So just checking that your knees are directly underneath your hips and your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Take a breath in, let your belly fall to the ground. You feel like your lower back very slightly arches, and then exhale, zipping in and up. Okay. We're just breathing here. Inhale, belly opens. Exhale, zipping in and up. Inhale, relaxing muscles, belly flops to the ground. Exhale, zipping in and up. Extend from the crown of the head to the tailbone. We're going to keep the abdominals nice and engaged. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Imagine you're holding a big orange underneath your chin, between your chin and your chest. Take a breath in. As you exhale, without wobbling to the side, I'm just going to release the right arm and reach it forward. Keep your shoulder away from your ear. Inhale, and comes back down, swapping the weight over without wobbling. Exhale, arm extends. Moving nice and slowly, nice and precisely. Keep that lovely length of the core. Keep both hip points shining forward, really nice. Don't drop your orange. Finish with the left arm extended. Take a breath into ribs. Check on those lovely lower abdominals, keep them zipped up. Exhale, right leg extends. Inhale, knee back down. Exhale, left. Inhale, right down. If everything feels okay, you're feeling nice and strong and stable at the core, you're not wobbling around side to side, you can exhale, right arm, left leg. Inhale, both back down. Really use your abdominals, use the core muscles to stabilize the movement. Push into the ground with the standing leg and arm. the left hand and the right leg extended. Hands back down, send the hips back into a child's pose or shell stretch. Keep your lower abdominals hooking in. Breathe into the back of the body. That ribcage breath. If you need to roll out through the wrists or give the fingers a little wiggle, please do. We're going to come back up to either hands or elbows. Again, making sure that your hands or your elbows are underneath your shoulders. If you're on your forearms, push the ground away from you so you're nice and extended. Either way, I want you to think about a long line from the crown of the head to the tailbone, almost like you've got a pole running through your body, okay? Take a breath in. As you exhale, extend the left leg long. Think about extending from the hip. Keep zipping up through the abdominals. Naturally, we're going to lean to the side and lift the hip. I want you to roll that hip down towards the ground. You're going to take a little bit more weight in that left arm. We're going to bend the knee, flex the heels, the heels pointing up to the ceiling. You're going to try and kick the sky. You're going to exhale, kick up. Don't move your hip. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down. Swapping over. Right leg extends. Notice if you've leaned to the side, we'll all do it. Roll the hip down, bend the knee, flex the heel. Exhale, kick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The knee comes down, send the hips back, keep the elbows or the hands where they are. Coming back onto the mat, and we're going to come to our sides. Nice long line. If you want to take a flat block underneath your head, you can, or you can bend your elbow if that's uncomfortable. Head is down, just checking that you're in a nice long line. You want to feel really activated like you're standing. What happens, particularly if you are a woman with bigger hips, the waist tends to kind of fall into the ground. So I want you to please draw that left hip away, or the upper hip, on the same side, away from the waistline. Think about stacking the hips. Think about zipping up pelvic floor, lower abdominals, ribs down. Just look down at your feet. We all tend to bring our feet a little bit further forward to help us balance. Bring them back so they're in alignment with the center of the hip. Brilliant. Everyone looks great. If you're wobbling around, think about more engagement through pelvic floor and abdominals. Otherwise, you could just tip one finger down. What I don't want is anyone leaning into the hand, okay? I'm going to try and stabilize from the center. Take a breath into ribs. As you exhale, point and lift that top leg. Inhale, flex through the heel and lower back down. So you're not going to lift the leg so high that the hip comes into the waist. You're going to keep the hips stabilized, and that's where you're going to get the most engagement. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, flex and lower. When we point the toe, we get a little bit more engagement through the quad at the front of the thigh. When we flex the heel, we get a little bit more engagement through the back of the leg and the glute. And the hips are obviously working. I hope you can feel that. Keep it slow, focus on getting that engagement. One more, please. And release for a moment, bend the knee up and give your hip to a little rub. Extending the legs. Next exercise, really important that we focus on zipping up and in rather than pushing down, because that is the kind of natural tendency. I'm just going to show you first, right? We're going to inhale, just lift in alignment with that top hip. Exhale, zipping inner thighs together. So what most people tend to do naturally is lift and then, right, we don't want to do that. Zip up, no pressure down between the legs. Inhale, exhale, zip. Working the inner thighs. Yes, you're gonna wobble. That's okay. If you fall over, you're already on the ground. So, does it hurt the hip?
Yeah.
Take the black mat will help.
Take what, sorry?
See that black mat?
Oh, right.
That's a Pilates mat, so it makes it squidgier. Pop it underneath your purple one. Anyone else have a sore hip? All good?
Okay, no.
Make this your last one.
Right.
It's an intense one. Brilliant. Just give you a chance to do two, okay? Without everyone carrying on. If you want to keep going, do.
Breathe in.
Inhale, lift, exhale, zip, and lower.
Yeah, that's loads better.
Brilliant. Really do one more. Really good. And release. Then we're going to bend both feet up. Check that the heels are in line with the back of the pelvis. Hips are stacked, so again, try not to let your waist fall into the mat too much. Send your tailbone down towards the heels. You've got that open neutral pelvis. Just check, feel across the front of the hips. Are they level? We're going to take the top hand to the top hip. Split the heels, so the toes stay together. This hip is not going to move. You're going to exhale, open the leg. Inhale, lower back down. We want to feel this into the glute at the back. Here. We're going to feel it into your hip. But if you're not feeling anything in your glute, just let me know. This hip is not going anywhere, okay? If it moves, you're just kind of rolling around. You're not going to get that engagement. We can lift heels off the mat. If you want to feel a little bit more, we can get a little bit more rotation in the hip. One more layer. And it feels like a big jump. We're going to open the knee. Keep that external rotation, point the toes. Toes together, knees together as we inhale. Exhale, lift, point, inhale, toes, knees. Last one. Pointed lift, keep it there. Keep your hand on your hip. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't need to do too many. Well done. Coming over to the other side. And just notice here if one side feels very different to the other.
I think it will.
If anyone does want to get a black mat too and have a bit more padding, you can go first. The only reason you want the purple one on top is because we are going to do the yoga and the black one will be slipping around. So nice long line. Think about your tailbone down towards your heels. Think about zipping up from the front pelvic floor, lower abdominals, ribs to hips. We're going to take a breath in, and as we exhale, point and lift. Inhale, flex and lower. Keep this feeling. Always think like your glutes engage and your core engages, and that kind of sandwiches the pelvis in place. Lovely. Last one. And off, give a little release if you need to. I'm going to extend again. Inhale, lift. Really important, remember we're not lifting it as high. Exhale, zip, and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, zip, and lower. Keep that lift from up inside, okay? Pelvic floor goes in. Lower abdominals go in, not out. Brilliant. The last one. And release. Bending up both knees, heels are along the back of the pelvis, tailbone down, zipping up and on top of it. Toes together, heels apart, exhale. Check in with that hip. You want to imagine the hands here almost like a stop, like blocking the hip from rolling. You want to start thinking about every time you exhale, engaging that little bit more. It happens naturally, and that's why we exhale to move. It gives the body that little bit more support. If you want to lift heels off the mat, please do. Everyone feeling that in their glutes? Okay. Last level, we're going to open the knee, point the toe. Toes together, knees together. Keep drawing in through the abdominals, keep breathing into ribs. Keep the back nice and long. Keep the hip from rolling back. So much to think about. Such an intense feeling in the leg. Last one, please. And release. Bend up your knee. Give your glute and your hip a nice rub or a little punch. And then we'll roll forward onto our fronts. Coming back to a shell stretch. Keep your hands in the lock with your shoulders. Dropping the head between the arms. Feel that nice stretch into the lower back and feel into the glutes. And can you please push your hands into the mat? Feel your elbows lifting off the mat and your shoulder blades engaging. Lift your head in alignment with your hands. Your ears are by your inner arms. We're going to just lift the hips slightly so that you can tuck under your toes. And then lift the hips into a down dog. Don't worry so much about the backs of the legs. I'd like you to think about your hands, your shoulders, and your spine. Send your hips and your shoulders away from your arms. Draw your rib cage down towards your hips. Let your head be really heavy. Give a little shake if you want to, but nod. Pedal through the backs of the legs and drop one heel and then the other. Spread your fingers and ground down through the thumb and the first finger. Almost think about spreading the shoulder blades wide, almost like they're going to wrap into your armpits. Inhale, gaze between the hands, you can bend your knees. We'll walk, step in towards the top of the mat. Coming into a forward fold. Bend your knees generously so your belly is touching against your thighs. Let your head hang. Let your arms be really heavy. Spread your toes. Push into the ball of the big toe, baby toe, and the heel, and lift up through your arches. Feel that little sucking in and up through the inner thigh. Now push into the feet, feel the backs of the legs switch on and roll up. Arms are heavy, head is heavy, peeling up through the spine, getting loads of movement. Notice any areas that feel a little bit stuck, that need that extra bit of abdominal support. Move to a nice long line, grounding down through the feet, zipping up through the abdominals, tailbone down, open across the chest. Inhale, circle hands overhead, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold and keep drawing in through the abdominals, keep the spine long. Inhale, please brushing your fingertips up your shins, lengthen through your spine, open your chest, draw your shoulders back. Exhale, hands down, stepping back to a plank. Spread your fingers, hands on your shoulders, lengthening from the crown of the head to the heels of the feet. Exhale, knees down, toes down, chest down between the hands, roll the elbows into the ribs. Inhale, scoop the chest through the hands, opening up. Draw your pubic bone into the mat, so protect the lower back, elbows back. Pushing into the hands as you inhale, exhale, hips lift, back to down dog. 3 breaths here, movement or stillness, whatever feels right. Spread your fingers, first finger, thumb, grounded into the mat. Release your head. We're going to come back to breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Belly breath. So you're inhaling, downward, releasing the pelvic floor, releasing the abdominals, exhaling, lifting it. Inhale, please, gaze forward, left leg steps forward, right leg steps forward, and we exhale to fold. Inhale, slowly coming up, hands up overhead, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine, open the chest. Exhale, fold. Stepping back to plank, lengthen. Take a breath in, and exhale, coming down. So this time, either through the knees, or if you can, if you want to, a full chaturanga. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, open the chest. You can come up a little bit higher, but think about that rib tip connection. Think about your pubic bone being in the earth, open the chest. Exhaling, coming back to down dog. You can always move through your child's pose. Please take any transition that your body needs. Inhale, gazing forward, right leg forward. Exhale, left leg forward and fold. Inhaling, circling hands up overhead, coming up. And exhaling, hands down to heart center. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. Drop the shoulders. Lift your heart center. You feel your pulse against your thumbs. Tailbone down to the earth, chest open. Centered out your core, grounded through the feet, through the legs. Feel that support from your energetic base. Physiologically, it's your pelvic floor. Energetically, it's your root chakra. And release the hands, take a few rolls from the shoulders, up, back, and down. Keep that sense of engagement through the abdominals. Opening the eyes if we want them to open, and come wide and come to the side of your mat. Toes pointing forward, hands on hips, lengthen through the spine. We're going to slightly turn the toes in and the heels out, folding forward with a nice long spine. Keep drawing in through the abdomen. Exhale, releasing the head to the ground, maybe releasing the hands to the ground. Adjust your feet if you need to. Maybe you want to come a little bit wider, maybe you want to bring your toes in a little bit more. Just breathing here. Letting the backs of the legs open. Bend your knees slightly if you need that, and it feels like there's a lot of pulling at the back of the knee. Slow breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Hands are on the ground, gently pushing into the hands. We'll heel toe the feet in very slightly, just one or two. This time toes pointing forward now. We're going to lean the weight over to the left leg, send the hips back. So you roughly want your shoulder in alignment with your knee. It's back, back, back. We're getting a stretch through the inner right thigh. Deep breath, particularly if it's very intense sensation. Inhaling through center, walk your hands, exhaling over to the other side. Send your bum back. You don't want your knee coming too far forward. Inhale through center. Turn your heels in and your toes out. Push into your feet, bend your knees and then roll them. Circle hands above your head. Exhale, leave wide and back. Tailbone comes straight down, hands to heart center. Replant your feet in the ground. Make sure the knees are coming back. Inhale, lifting up, we're going to take it through. Slow, feet in the ground, hips switched on, hips open. One more. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, releasing the hands. Turning the toes forward. Turning your right toes away. Try and keep your hips square. We're going to send the hips to the back. The ribs forward. Opening the arms. Come into a triangle. Open across the chest. Breathing into the body. You might feel nice to bring your hand above your ear. Turning your palm to face up and coming back to center. Swapping the toes over. Just checking that your hips haven't gone with you. Try and keep them facing to the side. Hips back. Ribs forward. And move with the waist. Hand can come up and over by the ear if that feels good. Maybe you've already got enough of a stretch through the waist, that's okay. Inhale, hand lifts up. Exhale, step into the front of the mat. Chin to chest, slipping up through the abdominals, rolling down. Bending your knees generously, taking your hands to the ground, lift your heels, bend your knees, sink your hips. Taking one hand back, and very slowly helping yourself down to the lay. Just going to spend a couple of minutes in Shavasana. Taking a nice deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale now, please sign out of the mouth. Let the weight of your body sink into the ground. Feel the bones becoming heavier. The muscles, connective tissue becoming softer. Letting go completely, mentally, emotionally, physically. Let your energy settle. Let the mind settle down into the body. Let the front of the body be free, open, soft, receptive. Feel all that we've done today in class being integrated, all of the movement, strengthening, stretching, releasing, breathing. Stillness is such an important part of rejuvenation. Slowly starting to deepen your inhale again, bringing some movement to your fingers and toes, maybe circling the wrists, ankles, reaching hands overhead and taking a stretch. And either just taking your feet onto the mat and swap or hooking knees into chest, very gently swaying knees side to side. And rolling all the way over onto one side, coming into the fetal position, just pausing here for a moment, eyes closed, giving yourself a little hug in, taking note of how your body feels now. Maybe thinking about sealing in this sense of connection to your body, awareness of your body, more subtle aspects. Taking a deep, deep inhale, keeping your eyes closed if you can, moving so slowly as you exhale, gently, gently coming up to a comfortable seated position. As you inhale, circle hands above our head, giving thanks to the sky above us. Thumbs to brow center, honouring our own inner wisdom. Thumbs to heart center, honouring our own inner peace and compassion for all. bowing down to the earth beneath us, giving thanks. And thanking you all so much. Namaste.
Namaste.